Welcome the timeless, forgotten mystery. There exists a book so mysterious, so feared, that it was hidden for centuries, the Book of Enoch. What secret could hold such power that leaders decided it must be banned? You may recall our exploration into the story of the Anunnaki, but tonight, we take a different path. This is not Mesopotamia. This is an ancient Jewish text echoing the same mysteries. In its pages are tales of angels who broke divine laws, giants born from forbidden unions, and chaos spreading across the earth. A story of shadow, wonder, and the forbidden. If you're ready, step with me into this doorway of memory. Like this video so more seekers may uncover these hidden stories. Now, let us open the first chapter, the Lost Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch is among the oldest and most enigmatic writings connected to the Bible, yet it was excluded from the Holy Scriptures. Scholars believe it was written over 2,000 years ago in ancient Hebrew or Aramaic, preserving stories not found anywhere else, accounts of angels and giants once living among mankind. For centuries, it vanished, whispered only through fragments. But in the mountains of Ethiopia, monks safeguarded it, hand-copying it long after the West had forgotten. It wasn't until the 19th century that explorers carried it back to Europe, revealing tales of fallen angels and giants that filled the earth with terror. This was not mere history, it was something more. Why was this book hidden? The answers are complex. It spoke of angels who disobeyed divine law, their punishments, their secrets, and the unnatural children born from them. Such writings were considered dangerous. Church leaders feared they could confuse believers or challenge accepted scripture. So it was easier to banish it to silence. But the mystery endured. Even the Bible itself hints at Enoch's visions, with the New Testament quoting his words. Like a shadow behind a curtain, the Book of Enoch lingered, forbidden but unforgettable. It isn't one single tale but many. It reveals the heavens, angels, hidden knowledge of the stars, giants walking the earth, and secrets of time itself. This is why it is called Apocrypha, hidden writings, not false, but concealed. To hold the book was to hold a key to another world, where ancient people believed they stood beside beings greater than themselves. Dangerous fantasy to some, divine truth to others, its pages open a window into forbidden knowledge. Tonight, we step through that window together. Who was Enoch? In the Bible, he appears briefly, a man who walked faithfully with God and was taken away, never tasting death. This gave birth to the belief he was lifted into heaven, becoming a bridge between the mortal and eternal. The Book of Enoch expands on this silence, painting him as chosen, guided by visions and voices beyond the sky, a messenger not just for his people but for all who questioned heaven and earth. The Watchers were angels sent to observe humanity, silent guardians of life below. But desire stirred within them, and they descended, choosing forbidden unions with human women. From these unions came the Nephilim, giants of immense size and strength. They devoured harvests, shook the earth with their footsteps, and soon turned to mankind itself, filling the world with blood and terror. The Watchers also revealed forbidden knowledge, metalwork, weapons, charms, and sorcery, corrupting humanity with powers never meant for them. Their descent was not only rebellion, it was the beginning of chaos. The Nephilim became both legend and curse, feared across lands. Tales of giants echo from the Bible to myths of titans, ogres, and forgotten kings. Even long after their fall, whispers of their presence lingered in ruins and mountains too vast for human hands. But their reign of terror would not last. Judgment was coming. Enoch was taken on a heavenly journey, lifted beyond the earth into visions of fire, crystal halls, rivers of light, and the order of the cosmos. He witnessed how the stars moved, how the heavens obeyed divine law, and heard a voice speaking of judgment to come. A great flood would cleanse the violence spread by the Watchers and giants. The fallen angels were chained in darkness, awaiting final judgment, while mankind was warned of destruction. Yet within this vision was also hope. For those who lived humbly and sought peace, mercy would be given. The Book of Enoch is more than an ancient text. It is a bridge between myth and scripture, between forbidden stories and hidden truths. A tale of angels, giants, judgment, and renewal. As we walk this path together, we step into the shadows where heaven once touched earth. The visions of Enoch ended with a promise. The Watchers would remain bound, the giants would vanish, and the great flood would cleanse the world. Yet beyond judgment lay balance. A new order would rise, where even the stars carried truth, and time itself was restored in harmony. This was the message Enoch was told to share, that judgment was not only about fear, but also about renewal. The storm would pass, leaving the earth forever changed. The giants would no longer rule, and the cries of creation would finally be answered. Still, questions lingered. What secrets hid in the heavens? What wisdom were the stars waiting to reveal? In the next vision, Enoch was shown the secrets of the stars, knowledge that shape how people understood time, fate, and the universe itself. He was given books not of paper, but of light. These were the heavenly tablets, where the paths of the stars were inscribed along with the cycles of the seasons and the days of the year. While time on earth seemed chaotic, in the heavens every moment was ordered. The sun, the moon, the months, and the years moved like gears in a great clock. The book of Enoch revealed how he was taught to measure days and seasons, to see beyond sunrise and sunset. Time itself was a language, and the stars were its letters. By learning this, Enoch could show humanity that life was not random, but written long before by hands greater than human. Among his visions, Enoch learned of the moon. Its changing face was not just beauty, but a calendar. The waxing and waning marked weeks, while the full moon marked sacred times. He was shown how its cycle repeated endlessly, guiding people in planting, harvesting, and resting. To Enoch, the moon was more than light in the sky, it was a silver clock set in the heavens. Angels explained its secrets, teaching him that each phase was part of a greater design. The moon became both comfort in the dark and a teacher of time. He was also shown the sun, rising through gates in the east and setting through gates in the west, moving along a path designed before the world began. Its journey was precise, not random. Each step marked the seasons, bringing warmth, growth, and the rhythm of life. To Enoch, the sun was more than fire. It was order itself, the heartbeat of the cosmos. Through it, mankind could trace the passing of years, the birth of spring, the fullness of summer, the fading of autumn, and the silence of winter. The sun was not just light, it was memory. Beyond the sun and moon, Enoch was shown the stars. They were not scattered lights but soldiers marching in perfect ranks. Each had a place, a path, and a purpose. Their movement was not chance, but harmony, a music that spoke to the soul. Enoch saw constellations rise and fall, seasons shift as stars moved like actors on a stage. Each constellation told a story, placed in the sky so mankind would remember. By reading them, people could know when to travel, plant, and harvest. Creation itself was a book written in shining ink across the heavens. The visions ended with one truth. The universe is a great clock, every part moving in harmony. Nothing is random, not sunrise, not seasons, not even years. To Enoch, this proved that creation itself carried meaning, and mankind was invited to read it. If you've been following this journey through the hidden pages of Enoch, consider subscribing. By doing so, you help bring these forbidden stories to more seekers and ensure you never miss the next chapter. For now, we close the Book of Stars and turn to a darker tale. What men did with Enoch's words. Why was this book banned? And what power did it hold that leaders feared so deeply? When the leaders of faith gathered the texts that would form the Bible, the Book of Enoch was left out, not because it was forgotten, but because it was feared. Stories of angels who broke divine law, of giants who filled the earth with violence, and of judgment written in the stars. These were not messages leaders wished to spread. They feared the book would create more questions than answers. To protect unity, they called it Apocrypha, meaning hidden, and cast it into shadow. Yet the book never truly died. Its words survived in whispers, in the writings of prophets, and in distant traditions. A forbidden book always carries power. Its banning only made it more mysterious and alive in memory. In the Western world, the book faded into near legend, believed lost forever. But in Ethiopia, monks protected it, copying it by hand for centuries. To them, it was not a danger, but a treasure. When it resurfaced in the 19th century, scholars were astonished. A voice thought silenced had returned, carrying secrets long suppressed. The banning of Enoch's book was not just about giants and angels, it was about fear. Fear that people might glimpse truths beyond the control of leaders. To speak of the Watchers, of cosmic judgment, and of forbidden knowledge was dangerous. The book gave power to questions, and questions could shake empires. Some called a heresy, some a curiosity, others a hidden treasure. Over time, Enoch's book became a ghost, never fully alive, never fully gone. Only fragments and echoes survived in other writings. Yet what is forbidden often grows stronger, and the Book of Enoch became legend precisely because it was silenced. When it resurfaced, some saw it as myth, others as theology, and others still as a missing piece of scripture. Its strange visions forced scholars to ask, why was such a powerful text removed? Was it hiding truths leaders wanted buried? Or was it simply too strange to preserve? Whatever the case, it became a challenge not just to history, but to faith itself. For centuries, the Book of Enoch was only a whisper, but with its return it spoke louder than ever. Its visions of angels, giants, and judgment echoed across cultures, from Greece to Norse legends to stories in the Americas. Were these myths inventions, or memories of something real? The Watchers, too, found echoes in faiths and mythologies worldwide, as angels in disguise, as demons, or as spirits who crossed forbidden lines. The flood became not just history, but a prophecy of the final judgment. Enoch's vision spread across ages, reshaping myths and end-time stories alike. Even in distant lands, the same themes appeared. When heaven touches earth in forbidden ways, chaos follows. Across cultures, these tales warned of angels who fell, giants who rose, floods that cleansed, and endings that renewed. Were these shared memories of the same truth? Or was humanity simply united in sensing the same danger? The echoes of Enoch are not silent. They live on in myths, scriptures, art, and modern questions about the unknown. Were they only stories, or fragments of real events long forgotten? Share your thoughts in the comments. By doing so, you keep this journey alive. Enoch's legacy reached across religions and centuries. Cast aside, his book still shaped prophets, mystics, and faiths. In time, Enoch himself became more than a man, a scribe of heaven, a figure transformed into something greater, remembered as Metatron in some traditions. His story became a bridge between heaven and earth, between human weakness and divine vision. For Christians, Jews, Muslims, mystics, and dreamers alike, Enoch's visions held lasting influence. He became a voice that crossed borders and generations, a hidden teacher whose echoes guided faith and imagination. His story inspired poets, mystics, and seekers. For centuries, Enoch's journey through the heavens was seen as a map for the soul, a path for those who long for more. His legacy shows us that stories cannot be erased. Forbidden or silenced, they survive across ages, carried by imagination and faith. The Book of Enoch reminds us that mystery is part of humanity's journey, that we are always reaching beyond the veil. Perhaps his greatest gift is not in answering every question, but in reminding us to keep asking. His visions live on in us, in our search for meaning, in our wonder at the unknown. If you have walked this journey with us, take a moment to subscribe. Each subscription is another step in this shared path through time and mystery. Together, we continue to uncover the stories that the world tried to silence. Enoch's voice reminds us that the universe is vast, time is long, and mystery will never end. His legacy is not only in his book, but in us, in our imagination, our questions, and our dreams.